Morning, everyone. Running a little late today. This one is going to be uploaded straight off the camera. No editing, no special images or anything. Um, I have some good news. The guys at Atlantis got up with me last night, so hopefully tonight we'll be able to do our interview, conversation with the guys at Atlantis Models, and the um, so I'll be doing that. So there won't be an after hour. There probably won't be an after hours video tonight. There will be a. I'll try and get that uploaded and up tonight. That's the plan anyway. So uh, today, mostly just going to work on the Stagecoach and probably get started on one of those models that Mr. Hamilton sent me. And I'm not sure which one. And just I've got so many projects. Work on the Swordfish and the Apollo, perhaps. Maybe get work on the launch umbilical tower. My thumb is still healing from where I don't want to gross you out, but that hot glue gun took a nice little piece off, and so caution I'm actually I'm used to using a hot glue gun fixing my styrofoam RC model. So you stick it on there, slam them together, and maybe put another seam on it after you've got it mated. But the paper, you're working in much closer quarters and much smaller pieces. So I got my hand way too close. That's how that boo boo happened. And boy, that's the kind of thing. They say once bitten, twice shy. Trust me, once burned, twice shy. So, and tomorrow night I'm supposed to have the Zoom with Mike Machat. So that's actually 2 Zoom videos in 2 nights. A new record. Uh, so looking forward to both of those. And I'm still hoping at some point to get up with Nick Argento, but of course I'm sure he's a busy guy because I'd like to talk to him about Glencoe. But I think, switching back to the models, I think I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do the Nito kit and the Nichimo kit because I'm working on the bios on both of those companies, and they kind of fall in that standard category of Japanese kit model companies that started in the 60s, maybe with 1 or 2 kits and ramped their way up, and then by the 90s or 2000s they decided to get out of it. Although one of them, I forget which one it was, hadn't really made a new kit in 20 years. They just been coasting. But then I guess that's really not that uncommon since about 1990s to 2000. I guess a lot of kit model companies just made what they made. They didn't introduce a lot of new stuff. I'm not sure what the mathematics are on kit model companies cutting a new mold. I imagine it depends on the complexity and the cost of the mold. But I wonder how many units they would have to sell to really justify cutting a brand new mold. Some of them, like the Tom Daniel Red Baron tea bucket. I think they made 3 million of those things in a year or two. So that was heck. They may have only had the one mold, but heck, they even wound up making that in a different scale. Originally 1 to 24, and it did so well. It was pantographed down from a 1 to 12 scale, but it did so well that they went ahead and made a 1 to 12 scale. I focus so much on the mold makers, I kind of forget about the incredible talent of the pattern makers, which is something Andy Anchus did. I also need to get cranking on his Aurora stories. He sent me a bunch of copies of the Runner. Now, the Runner was a column that he wrote, and each one of them is I was gonna say I could probably do it as part of this of the morning coffee, because they're relatively short stories, but then again, they might kind of be good for their own standalone thing. I don't know. It gets to a point where I start trying to this is, I find this all so cool and I want to do so many things, and you find out the sun's setting already. Where did the day go? And you haven't gotten everything done. You start to overtask yourself, which sounds typical of me. Probably one reason I'm so big, because what does my grandmother used to say? Don't let your eyes be bigger than your stomach. And I was like 6 years old when she told me this, so I'm like, I don't get it. My stomach's bigger than my stomach's got to be big. My eyes this big. My eyes couldn't be bigger than my stomach. And then later on, somebody explained, she means you're letting your appetite get away because you see stuff and you want to eat more. Oh, gotcha. But the coolest, I think the coolest projects that I can come up with are bringing out the nifty stories, the behind the curtain stories that only someone like Andy can deliver, because they're never part of an official record. And it's always, that's why I love those Hollywood behind the scenes kind of shows and I love seeing the photos. That's why I made those videos, like the making, excuse me, the making of the aerial scenes for Dunkirk, or the making of the aerial scenes for the making of the Battle of Britain. Because I, of course, being a cinephile, somebody who loves the movies, I find the behind the scenes stuff as interesting as the subject matter itself, and also because if all goes right, no one gets killed making the movies. It's one of the things that makes them so much more fun than a real war. But I think all of us have the same attitude when we watch military films that are not well made, or sappy or poorly written. We get upset because we all understand what people went through to give us the world we live in, and the human sacrifice that was made. And when somebody makes a crappy war movie, they sort of belittle all of that. But whereas if they make a crappy monster movie, maybe we can still have some popcorn and enjoy it. The kit model company, same thing I guess goes with kit model companies. If a company cranks out a really bad kit, it's just, aside from being frustrating to build, if it doesn't look right, it's just an insult. And it's hard to believe that a company would work so hard to do things like make molds and get a kit to production, only to put out a really bad kit. Now, when I say really bad, I'm not talking about something that's a little bit off. I'm talking about something when you build it, you go, that is not a, whatever I bought. I remember a long time ago, my younger brother or I got a P-51 kit. It was real cheap, and I forget who made it. And it was, the nose section and everything, it was literally shaped like a banana. And I don't think it was one of the major manufacturers, and it was just something we found at the dime store for cheap. And we went ahead and bought it and built it. But I mean, it's like it's sloped up on the nose, and I was like, somebody went all the trouble to make a mold, and it looked that bad. And I mean, so there you go. But of course, mistakes do get made. If you read Andy's book, Andy and Dennis Prince's book, The Aurora Monster Scenes, you see some of the administrative errors and stuff that were made that resulted in mold making errors that they just had to run with them. Wait a minute. Here's the drawing right here. That was the first draft. You were supposed to do that draft. Oh, have they already cut the mold? Yeah. Ooh, I think we're going with this. Well, we got to fix this and this. And so, so many models to build. I'm just all aglow inside. Well, I guess I had better get to it. And You know, last parting shot, I do remember a lot of you guys asked me to do the thing on the Squadron Shop, and I finally got some information on them, and it'll take me a while to get around to doing it. But I still, people ask me, like, what's the first kit you ever got? I vividly remember it was a Spitfire, and I'm pretty sure it came in a bag, and I'm pretty sure it was the Airfix BTK Spitfire. And a lot of things remember. Like I remember the very first kit I got from the Squadron Shop was the little Airfix Bird Dog, which came in a bag. Man, I played with that everything till literally the wheels came off of it. I made so many fake landings to take off, I literally ground the landing gear down. But I cannot remember. We talked the other day. I cannot remember the most expensive kit I bought. I do know, again, like I said, I paid $116 of shipping for the Stagecoach, but that was for somebody else. But I'm sure I've paid north of $100 for something, but I can't remember what. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm going to upload this straight from the phone, so you get what you get. Thanks. You have a great day. We'll see you tonight. Well, we'll see the guys at Atlantis tonight, and hopefully see you. You know what I mean.